The universe flows in perfect order. Anything outside of that only causes confusion. Today, I will share how you can master the mind body spirit connection. Hello, hello, hello. You are listening to the Manifest on Purpose show. I am your host, Kimbaley. I am here to help you manifest on purpose. Before I get into today's conversation, I want to give you a little gratitude. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for sharing this with your friends and family. And thank you for subscribing here and on the website at Kimbaley, KIMBALEY.com. And you know how I feel about you. The God in me loves the God in you. Let's talk about mastery today. We're going to talk about how to master mind, body, and spirit. But before we even get into that, let's hear today's Astro-Numerology forecast from Astro-Numerologist LLoyd Strayhorn and the Star 8 mobile numerology app. It is Wednesday, March the 20th. The sun is in Pisces. The moon is in Leo. It's an 11 universal month, a 5 universal week, a 4 universal day. Traditional methods and techniques won't be as effective if that's how you plan to approach this day. Rather, taking an out of the way method, as strange as it may sound. Yet, at the same time, take into consideration the sensitivities of those who may not be on the same page as you. It's that variety of life that makes each of us special. Aquarius, Leo, Gemini, and those born on the 1st, 4th, 10th, 13th, 19th, 22nd, 28th, and 31st of the month are likely to be out front and center way more than most. Once again, that is the Astro-Numerology forecast for today, courtesy of Astro-Numerologist LLoyd Strayhorn and the Star 8 mobile numerology app. You can get your forecast every day. Go to a star 8, ASTAR, the number 8.com. Or you can also download it on Google Play in the App Store, or go to Linktree/numbers in you. Now, let's get to the show. Today, I'm going to take you back into time a little bit. Not too far, back to 1980. Do you by any chance remember the classic toy, the Rubik's Cube? At least I think it was a toy. Whatever it was, toy or game, it was one of my favorites of the 1980s. It was a classic. For those of you who don't remember, here's a brief description of the Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube is a 3D combination puzzle that was invented in 1974. This puzzle was a cube that consisted of 26 unique miniature cubes. Each of the mini cube had a color. These cubes were movable. You could twist and turn them, and the object of this puzzle was to align all mini cubes according to the corresponding colors. Hey, I hope you got that one because it was hard for me to describe. If you're having any questions about it, feel free to Google the Rubik's Cube, RUBIX, and cube, CUBE, so that you can learn more about the cube. And perhaps if you see the cube, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, It was one of my favorite toys in the 80s. What fascinated me about this toy is the fact that it was a challenge to me. It was a challenge to find the perfect alignment of the little cubes. The cube is only solved when all of the colors are in alignment with one another. In the beginning, those who solved it were considered to be geniuses. So I was amongst all of the people trying to solve it. But then, people always have to find a shortcut. I lost my excitement for the toy when people began cheating by removing the colored stickers on the mini cubes and placing them in a way to make it seem as if it was aligned and that they had solved the puzzle. It wasn't fun anymore. Someone's always looking for that shortcut. Usually, these shortcuts lead to a bunch of confusion. In this case, how would you know if you could really solve that cube if the stickers had been tampered with? What would make it fun if you already know that the stickers have been tampered with? Allow me to tell you something real for a moment. There is perfect flow and harmony in the universe. It may not always seem as such, but just like the Rubik's Cube, there is a blueprint. If you know the blueprint, in the case of the universe, you know the flow. You solve the puzzle that unlocks success. However, if you try to cheat by taking shortcuts, it will only lead to confusion. Well, I have good news for you today and some other news. The good news is I'm going to give you the universal blueprint to success. The other news is it will do you no good if you don't use it or if you decide to bypass any of these steps. The perfect order of the universe is mind, body, spirit. Together, this combination leads to universal success. Each component is just as important as the other. However, each component has a major role to play, and you have to be active in each of these components to align with the universal principles. So let's start with the mind. The mind, after all, affects the body. The mind is our mental affections and how we think, what we believe. This is the part of us that shapes our physical reality. The mind is so important because there are so many powerful things that you can do with the mind, but yet it's nothing when it's all alone. What's on your mind? Whatever that is, goes on to be a projection of the reality that is around you. So the key to the mind is to fill the mind with all the things that you desire. In the mental dimension, you should be visualizing the things that you want to see show up in your physical reality. This is a good time for creative visualization and for doing those techniques that require you to visualize and to see things with your mind. Use your imagination here. I know that you probably feel like visualizing is something that you have to try hard to do, but visualizing is something that you do already. Whenever you have a thought, you create a mental image of it. So when you look at something that you wish to be manifesting in your life and you see that it is not showing up in your reality, it's not that it's not for you, it's that you are not aligned with it. And the one place that you need to be aligned with is in the mind first. Once you have established that that thing is concrete in your mind, you can then create it in the physical reality, which is what we will move on to now. the physical dimension of the mind, body, spirit collaboration. It is just a wish when a person thinks about what they want and just sit around and wait for that item to fall right into their laps. It's wishful thinking. Unfortunately, over the years, that's what some of these manifestation modalities have made it seem to some people. Or maybe they were being realistic in these modalities. It's just that the people misinterpreted the wrong way. It should not mean that whatever you want, whenever you desire in your mind, will automatically show up for you. Remember what I said earlier about what you see in your mind is what goes on to create your physical reality? So, what do you do on the physical dimension? What role does the physical body play in manifestation? How does it assist in the creation process? We already discussed that part of that connection is mind. Once you have a clear mental image of what you really want, then you have to start working towards it, meaning that you have to set meaningful goals. Another thing that I want you to realize is that during this part of the progress, I want you to think about when I talked about you need a vehicle. If there's something that you would like to come into your life, you need a vehicle for it to show up in your life. For example, if you're trying to manifest that a specific amount of money, what vehicles do you have set up to bring that money into you? Now, the mind is powerful, but at the same time, we are still in this physical reality. So that means we are governed by this physical reality as well. And we have to abide by the universal laws of this physical reality. Sometimes work on the physical level is as simple as going through the motions. I was determined on my last job that that would be my last job. In other words, I was aspiring to be my own boss. I was aspiring to have my own business. Here I am speaking to you today on a manifestation that I made quite a few years ago. And since we're talking about this, I'm going to jump on a side note really quick because this popped into my head. This situation happened to me and it was kind of funny. During this time of transition for me, I was talking with my aunt and I was out of work at the time and she asked me, "When are you going back to work?" And I told her at that time, not even knowing how it would happen, that I was not going back to work. She looked at me like, "Wow, you have a nerve." And I was very matter of fact about it. But I remained true to that. I did not return back to work. And I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I just knew in my mind. I believed in it enough and I saw it enough that it was going to happen to me anyway. So getting back to being on that last job during the last month of being there, of course, I was tired of being there because I felt like it was that time where, it's time for you to leave, but you're overstaying your welcome. I knew that I should have been gone long before, but I could not find the motivation to leave. So I decided to switch things up a bit. I had my own office space at the time. So what I did was I used my office space as my office space, meaning I set my office space as close to I could get it as I would have my home office space. I even put up pictures of some of the things that I wanted to create in my life. People started looking at me like I was crazy. Then some would bring back souvenirs from their travels, things that aligned with the things I wanted to manifest in my life. When I was working for this company, the whole while, I was pretending, I was visualizing, I was imagining that I was not working for that company. I was working for myself. And before long, it just happened. It happened in an unexpected way. You know, when I say there is perfect order in the universe, I mean it. That means that we don't always know what that perfect order is going to be or what that perfect order is, but we should just know that whatever happens is a part of that experience, and this leads you to what you want to achieve in your life. So when some things happen, it's best not to question. Just allow yourself to flow, and the perfect harmony of the universe will take care of the rest. That's why I think I was so successful in walking away during that time. I didn't know that what was happening around me was actually coming together to achieve that in which I had already imagined in my mind. So it's important to know that the mind and body works together. The body can't work without the mind. Manifestation is, in fact, the physical evidence or proof of what you have been setting your intentions about in your mind. So that alone lets you know that the mind needs the body to manifest. Now, the next component may be a bit touchy to some people. We all say that we honor the spirit in our life, but the question is, how much do you honor spirit in your life? You can look at the things that you have manifested in your life in comparison to the intentions that you have set and actually see what role spirit plays in your life, if it plays any role at all. Now, I must forewarn you, when I talk about spirit, I'm talking about God, I'm talking about whomever you may call that being that is the energy of all creation. Some may call this creative energy source. Some may call this creative energy the universe. And in this case, I'm going to look at the source as the one mind, because according to metaphysics, there is but one mind. And each individual mind is just an expression of that one mind. How connected are you with the one mind in your life? How connected are you with source or spirit or universe? It makes no difference what you call this energy. How connected are you with it? This is important. We talked about the mind and how you need to have a mental image of that in which you want. The mind uploads that information to the source, the one mind, God, spirit, whatever you call that energy. Either way, there is an upload of your information taking place. But what happens is you have to be connected to the source, because the source is what's going to download information to you that's going to lead you to where you need to be to get what it is that you're desiring in your life. Now, once you've connected with that source, you have unlimited access to the knowledge of the universe because you are aware of it. You are open to it and you allow it to come through. And in order for you to allow it to come through, you must have a clear channel for it to come through. And that's going to require, first of all, your belief. There is a greater intelligence in the universe, but you have to connect with it. One of the ways that you can connect to that unlimited knowledge and wisdom is through meditation. Meditation will help you open up a channel to the source, and it will help you be aware of what's going on around you, and it will also allow you to tap into that unlimited knowledge and wisdom of the universe. Wayne Dyer said it best. He said that prayer is you talking to God, and intuition is God talking to you. And in this case, it's the same thing as that upload and that download. Your visualization is speaking to the source, and the source speaks back if you're able to receive it through the downloads. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, "But you should remember the Lord your God, because it is He who gives you the power to get wealth." To me, what that is saying is that these downloads that come in from the source are a lot of times the inspiration for you to go out and make those things happen that you want to see happening in your life. It's not saying that wealth will be bestowed upon you, which I'm sure all of that will happen. But what it is saying is that you will receive the knowledge to get wealth. You cannot hear or be open to this knowledge unless you are tuned in and connected to the source energy. Mind, body, and spirit. I like to call this the structured circle. When you look at the triangle is a lot like the circle. It has no beginning or ending. The difference between the circle and the triangle is that the triangle has 3 points on it. This is the blueprint to the universe. If you look at the bottom of the triangle, you have mind and body. The mind and body work together until the two becomes one. Let me repeat that. The mind and body work together until the two becomes one. This happens when the two connect to the source of unlimited intelligence. Your mind is so beautiful. Your mind is where you get to create all the things you want. It is the beginning of your creation cycle. You create the things that you want in your mind, and you upload these things to the universe, to source, to the one mind, or even you may prefer to say God. Either way, no matter what you call that energy, it's all the same because you are then connected to the source. The download can begin. And this is when the source downloads the infinite knowledge and information of the universe to you to give you ideas of how to work towards those things that you want to create in your life. That's when you take those things to the physical dimension, the dimension that we all must be a part of because we are living in a physical existence. We have to follow these laws first. That's why it's so important to do mindset work, set goals, establish boundaries, and create vehicles to get you where you want to be. Now that you have this information of how the mind, body, and spirit connects, I want you to apply these things in your life. The Rubik's Cube, what a fun game. I must admit, I never did solve that puzzle. I did have one that some of the stickers were removed, but that was no fun at all to me because I knew it would have been cheating. And cheating causes confusion. It's the same thing with the order of the universe. The universe has perfect flow and harmony. Anytime we go against that perfect flow and harmony, we create confusion. We don't want confusion in our life. Confusion and creativity just don't go together. Can't live in the same space. Mind, body, and spirit, that is the blueprint of the universe. If you follow the dimensions of the mind, body, and spirit, and let this non ending connection come together in your life, you'll see that things will begin to flow in a much more pleasant way. You can even say that it will bring harmony. I love you to life. This is how you manifest on purpose.